Today on Midweek's Best, we give you our NCAA tournament preview.
And later on, Pat Gunther joins the show for Eyes on the Tiger, and Bat and I preview the LSU opening NIT matchup tonight in the City by the Bay.
All that and much more as Midweek's Best starts right now. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Midweek's Best. I'm Bat Brunner.
And I'm Derek Kopp. Well, Bat, after a rough midterms week last week, I can say that the St. Patty's Day weekend was a nice way to relax. How about you?
St. Patty's was great. Midterms, well, sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't have to worry about it.
Aren't you lucky? But at least the parades were fun.
Your senior guys.
Whatever you say. Now, switching gears, the LSU men's basketball team plays their opening round game versus the San Francisco Dons tonight in San Francisco at 9 on ESPNU. Now, the team comes into tonight's game following a defeat to the Kentucky Wildcats in the SEC tournament. The Tigers experienced an up-and-down season with wins against Kentucky and Butler, but losses against teams like Rhode Island, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M. They're led by power forward Johnny O'Brien III and all-SEC freshmen Jordan Mickey and Jarrell Martin. The Tigers will make their postseason tournament debut tonight under head coach Johnny Jones as the team turned down the NIT bid last season. Now, Bat, we know exactly what to expect of the Tigers in this game after watching them on this roller coaster ride of a season, but what should we expect out of the other team, the Dons?
Well, Derek, the team representing the West Coast is going to bring a different style of play than these Tigers have seen the SEC play this entire season. This USF team is coming into this game with an overall record of 21-11 and a conference record of 13-5 coming out of the West Coast Conference, the WCC. Though the team does not have a very large inside presence with just 35.5 rebounds per game for 130th best in the country, not good, but it is their shooting where they blow people away, as they shoot 48% from the field, good enough for 28th best in the country. The Dons are also playing on their home court where they have a record of 13-5 on the season.
Now, Bat, before we cut to the break, I'll give you a quick preview of tonight's game. Who do you think is going to win?
The Tigers right now, I think both teams are going to be seeing different styles of play tonight. But for me, I think if the Tigers bring the mentality that we've seen whenever they played their best all season, if they bring it in, we'll see some great.
That's what I'm thinking. Big conference against little conference.
Close game.
Hope they can pull that one out. Oh, the NIT always will be. Now, Bat, without further ado, let's get into some of the real tournament action, though, that began last night with the first 4 play-in games. Now, the tournament unofficially began last night as the NC State Wolfpack and the Albany Great Danes moved on, and later on tonight, the final 2 spots will be determined by the winners of the Cal Poly Texas Southern game and Iowa Tennessee. So, Bat, with the tournament being set in stone after tonight, what is your bracket looking like, and who's your winner, but also who's that big upset in the first round?
Well, right now I'm going to have to say Syracuse is my big winner for this game. We've seen how good they've been this season. They went undefeated for such a long period of time, but they've also been affected by a lot of injuries. But right now, Jeremy Grant has been out for a month and a half. He's back, and he's a big leader for this team. We're also going to see this guy right here, Tyler Ennis, who is a mastermind with basketball. He takes it to the court. If we can see the Syracuse team start off this tournament with the same mentality as I'm always big on, and the same aggressiveness and the same play that we saw them bring out when they beat Duke and they had great undefeated time, we'll see great things out of this team for this tournament. But all that being said, though, Derek, who is your winner and upset pick of the first round?
You know, Bat, this one is a no-brainer for me. As I see it, the Florida Gators, there's nobody that can beat them this year. I think they're going to take the crown. Now, I mean, this is just a great team built from top to bottom. I think one of the best teams we've seen in a long time. Patrick Young is a beast on the inside. He's going to get offensive rebounds, defensive rebounds, and get you some blocks on defense. Scotty Wilbekin is probably the best point guard. He's really underrated. It's shocking, but I would say probably the best point guard and team leader in the country. That's a big part of a national championship team. And also you got Michael Frazier II. He can shoot, as you can see, the deep ball. He can connect from deep. They can drive. They got a good inside-out game. But the big thing that I noticed is they just run and run and run and run. They don't quit. The energy level's great. And Billy Donovan is a head coach. I think he's just one of my favorites.
He's got 2 rings.
He's already got 2. I think 3 would not be surprising to me. Then for upset, I like North Dakota State. It's shocking, but they think they lead the NCAA in field goal percentage, so not too far.
And I forgot to say, I think right now Harvard will be beating over Cincinnati.
Yeah,
as well. I do like the North Dakota State.
Both those will shock the nation. Hopefully, that's the best part about the tournament, right? The shocks. Now, coming up after the break, Pat Gunther joins the desk to give us an inside look at LSU's key freshman swinger, Jarrell Martin.
Don't go anywhere. Midweek's Best will be right back.
Nice play to Send it down the slot for Moen. Backhander scores! What a play for Montreal to tie the game at 2.
Now, welcome back to the show, everybody. At this time, we would like to introduce the only member of our team with information regarding the whereabouts of Jimmy Hoffa. Now, Pat, is there any chance we can get the inside scoop?
Well, Derek, I'm not at liberty to speak on that matter, but we got some basketball to talk about. With the NIT tournament and LSU's first-round matchup against San Francisco quickly approaching, the Tigers will look to their most heavily recruited freshman, Jarrell Martin, to augment their offensive firepower. The Tigers' athletic swingman has underperformed to his lofty expectations at times, but has made great strides in developing his game to the collegiate level throughout this year. Defensively, Martin has hung around with some of the SEC's best small forwards this season, proving to be one of the Tigers' elite defenders. His length and quickness make him incredibly effective on the perimeter and allows him to force turnovers that lead to easy transition buckets. Though he has made great strides, Martin's offensive prowess is still his most valuable attribute. Averaging 10.2 points per game, Martin is the third leading scorer on this youthful LSU squad. After announcing he will return for his sophomore season, Martin has instilled hope for the future in Tiger fans everywhere. The Tigers and Martin's success on the hardwood hinges upon the energy they bring to the floor, which is something that must remain high if LSU expects to make it out of the first round of the NIT.
We really weren't supposed to be practicing that hard, but our mindset, we went in, we changed our mindset now we practicing harder, we're going after each other, making each other better, so we can show it in the games.
Great segment, Pat. Now, looking at the LSU basketball team as a whole, and not just Jarrell Martin, what kind of adjustments do you think need to be made going from the SEC tournament loss to a tough Kentucky team, against tonight's San Francisco Dons?
Well, I think it all hinges upon the offense. Open looks from beyond the arc for Andre Stringer and Anthony Hickey. They're their two best shooters. And, of course, you've got to box out on the offensive glass. LSU has a tremendous rebounding advantage against the Dons, who, as we said earlier, were 138th out of 160 NCAA teams. You know, Hickey needs to penetrate the lane and kick it out to the big guys who can hopefully make some big buckets inside for them tonight.
Yep, I would agree. That inside game, I think, would be the big part. When we were looking at the rosters, one guy at 6'11", and his minutes weren't even high. So that means really small lineup. So hopefully we can get the advantage there. Now, it'd be nice to see the Tigers keep it going and get the victory tonight for the seniors so they don't have to take that jersey off just yet. But what do the Tigers need out of those big guys tonight to advance to the second round?
Well, we're going to have to see the same thing we always do. But Mickey and J.O.B. are going to need to be an early force and take out the advantages of the size mismatches they have and crash the glass hard. On defense, Tigers are going to need Mickey to establish himself on the low block and contest all the inside shots and can't give him anything else. But the Tigers have had issues with these second-chance buckets, especially in big games against Kentucky, and they're going to need to cash in on those as much as possible with this game, which I believe is going to come down to the wire.
Yep, I agree. And the one thing about the NIT, people don't think that they pay attention to it. It's not a big deal to these teams. I mean, obviously, that you always want to win. It's always about winning.
Absolutely. But, I mean, they're always looked at as the 65th through 128th best teams in the country because of the NIT, and they're after the 64 guys that are in the actual tournament. But, I mean, they still get a lot of TV coverage. It's a pretty interesting game, especially when we saw Kentucky lose in the first round last year. I mean, the NIT tournament was pretty interesting.
If anything, I think they should just have a chip on their shoulder, go from there. I mean, play your hardest. Go into San Francisco, get that one on the West Coast. You don't play there often. It'd be nice to be able to have that feather in your hat right there. But, well, Pat, thanks for the inside look at Jarrell Martin. Coming up after the break, Bat and I show you guys the best plays from last week at LSU Sports St. Patty's Day
Don't touch that dial, guys. I'm serious. It's going to be great.
Running out as Warren gets the pass and brings it home. Wow. T.J. Warren.
Well, that's certainly not what Chris Mack told him to do.
Welcome back to the show. Now we're going to show you guys the top 5 plays of the week.
Let's jump right into it. Play number 5. Number 5, Andrew Stevenson. After this pitch, of course, back. Sorry, that is not going to be a base hit for you.
That is robbery. That's what that is.
You will not cross go.
And here it is, Alex Bregman, number 4, with the big hit. Going. Gone. What a hit over the wall. Big time power.
And number 3 here. Excuse me, guys. Number 3, not much of a play, but definitely an advantage whenever you have more adrenaline than the other team. Chris Chinea, the catcher. I don't even think they know what they're saying, but it's a great Spanish chant, and you see these guys are just excited and ready to go.
Doesn't even matter what they're saying as long as they get pumped. Then here we go. Play number 2. This is Tyler Moore. Watch this. This is going to be the over-the-shoulder grab. I got it. Calling people off. This is all me.
A lot of great defensive plays right now that the Tigers we're going to be seeing out of them. And, of course, our Sports Showtime St. Patty's Day special. Boom! That's Chris Shambra all the way in the back. Folks, what did you think about that?
That was beautiful.
Beautiful stuff.
Beautiful play.
Folks, unfortunately, though, we are out of time for this week's show. Thank you for watching once again. Make sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter for the latest news at TigerTV_Midweek's Best. And don't forget to vote for the best play for next week, showing #Midweek's Best.
And come back for more of the best next week. But for now, I'm Derek Cotton for Bat Brunner and Pat Gunther. Have a great night, Tigers.